guys, welcome back to another video. This week I want to talk about a topic that's been pretty much very prevalent on my mind, and it's about loneliness, spending time in your own company, solitude, friendships or a lack of friendships. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit more about it and share my experience with it and what's going on in my head and my life and just be real. I'm trying to do these things a bit differently, and I'm trying to be a bit more natural in the sense where I don't literally have my notes right in front of me. I'm trying to do it more so off the top of my head, which is difficult, especially when you're not used to filming yourself and just literally sitting talking to my camera. But I'm trying to make it better and just more natural, and basically try to really think that I am just talking to a friend, and let's see what comes from it. For me, journaling has become a really important tool that I use to gain clarity or to work through specific emotions, especially when I'm going through a particular challenge. So whenever I tend to feel overwhelmed, or I'm sad, or I have a particularly strong emotion, what I tend to do is I tend to just gravitate towards my journal and I just start writing, and I write whatever's in my head. And usually when I allow my thoughts and my emotions to flow into the page without any judgment, which is pretty hard, I tend to gain a lot more understanding of my actions, why I do certain things that I do, and sometimes it leads to a breakthrough in a sense, just really, really deep understanding of my actions and linking it to the past. And so today in this video, I want to talk about one of these breakthroughs that I had, which was about loneliness. So it was about 3 months ago or so, I think, where I had this journal breakthrough. I wish that I had this journal with me so I could read it back. But this experience really stuck to me because I remember that I was literally in tears from what I was writing. And it's not even that I was sad when I started writing. I wasn't feeling particularly low. I was, nothing was wrong. I was pretty good. And this was when I was getting into the daily habit of journaling. And sometimes you just have no idea what you want to write. And so I remember Googling journal prompts for self-discovery, and I picked the first one that came up, and this one led me to tears because it was really tears of release and tears of understanding myself, recognizing where my insecurities come from, and understanding why I was tolerating unfair and unkind treatment from other people, and really just linking my past to my present. And it finally felt like I could take in a deep breath because I finally uncovered and understood a part of myself that I hadn't for such a long time. So I want to take you through a little bit of my history, I guess, when it comes to socializing and friendships and just loneliness in general. And I would say that I never really struggled as a child to make friends or to socialize. I moved schools quite a bit, and I think that really helped me making friends. So it wasn't really until I was 14 or 15 years old, which was probably one of the first times that I felt loneliness. This was when I had returned to a school that I had previously left. So I was there before for about maybe 2 years, and I left for about 9 months. And when I came back, everything just really shifted, and it was the first time that I felt like an outcast or an outsider, or that I was being left out. And it was just a really confusing time for me because I remember the day before school, coming back to the school, I was so excited to see all of my friends again, to be back in the same class and just be with my friends and catch up with them. And I guess I assumed and I expected that nothing would have changed, but when I got there on the first day, it was the complete opposite. No one really even not recognized me, but no one really acknowledged me. And I remember one of the girls who I considered to be my bestest friend at the time, I was expecting like a huge, all I wanted to do really was just give her a huge big hug and catch up with her and, you know, tell each other about what we've missed in the 9 months of each other's lives. But when I went up to her super happy, all she did was she looked at me and she was like, "Oh, you're back." And that really stuck with me because I felt so confused and I felt sad, and honestly, I felt really alone. And to this day, I still don't understand what happened or what went wrong or if I did anything wrong. But yeah, I don't know, but that was the first time that I really felt alone. I mean, it did get better though. So after a few months, we ended up having to move countries anyways and started at a new school. And over there, I managed to make friends. I had a really nice group of girls who I was close with. But the thing about being in Dubai, that was in Dubai, is that everyone eventually leaves, and soon I found myself having no friends again. Throughout university, I really didn't make any friends either, and I was always kind of sad about that because I remember a lot of people just always telling me, like, university is going to be the best days of your life. This is where you are going to make your forever friends and meet your forever friends, and for me, it wasn't like that. And I remember that I would actually also feel a bit envious of girls who had just large group of friends who always went to parties and, you know, trips around Europe together. And I always found myself comparing myself to my old friends who seemed to have all of that, and also to my sister, who she really was a social bee, but she was always going out, she always had people around her, and I guess when you really compare yourself to others, that's where you even feel more alone. And so that's how it was throughout my university days. And I think because of that, I developed a fear of being alone. And because of that fear, I started to tolerate things from the people in my life, the few people that I had in my life. I started to tolerate unfair and unkind and hurtful treatment or experiences from them, and I easily forgave them, knowing pretty well that it was just gonna happen again. But, you know, at that point, I think I would rather forgive them and go through that just so that I wouldn't be left completely alone. Over the past year, I've really been working on my relationship with myself. I am trying to learn how to be comfortable being in my own company, learning to love myself and understand myself, and trying to really create my life from within and not really depend or rely on anyone else to give me that kind of happiness or that joy or that wholeness. So yeah, I remember starting to practice being alone by going on sunrise walks at the beach and going on pool days or beach days alone, going to cafes alone. And at the beginning, I used to always do this while listening to music or to podcasts, or, you know, always having a book or some sort of entertainment or distraction with me. But over time, as I got more used to this and more comfortable with this, I started doing it without these external distractions and really just being present and noticing my thoughts and my feelings, the emotions that come up when I'm out, and really also just taking in everything around me, being fully present and fully aware. And I think that's really beautiful too. So being alone is a good thing, and it's definitely taught me a lot about myself. I would say that I'm a pretty easily influenced person. I'm flexible, I'm laid back, and usually I'm just happy to kind of go along with things. And so being alone has really allowed me the time and the space to actually stop and contemplate things, to take a step back and think about what it is that I want to do, and in a way just live a lot more authentically. I think it really sped up my self-growth and my personal development. It showed me that I am capable, like I am able to do things by myself and to take care of myself. And you know, you don't really need to have anyone around you to do the things that you want to do. So that's just also been a really nice reminder, because it's sometimes easy to forget that having fewer friends allows me to value and appreciate the few amazing friendships that I do have in my life. The few friends that I have are living all around the world, and I know that I need to take more initiative to call them and to nurture our friendship and relationship by just being there more often, taking the initiative to make trips to go and see them throughout the year. But those few friends, I am truly grateful for them, and they are just beautiful, beautiful, bright souls, and I miss them a lot. But I am very grateful that I have been able to cultivate and develop this deep friendship with them that can withstand the test of time and distance. And that's how you know they are your real friends, because despite not being in the same country, not having them right by your side, they are still always there for me, just like I am with them. But those are the kinds of friends that I want in my life. So by enjoying my own company more, I have become more selective of the people that I let into my life. And I think this is a great thing, because now the people who I do let into my life, I know that they bring me energy. They're good people. They're more on my wavelength, and they add rather than taking. And at the end of the day, it's, you want someone who does exactly that, and you can be more selective and you can choose the people who you give your energy to. I think sometimes we forget, and it's so easy to give ourselves to other people, yet without even really contemplating and noticing what they are, if they are giving or if they are taking energy from you. I think being selective is a really good thing, because you only have a finite amount of your energy, and you want to be giving it to the people who really truly do care for you, who will be there for you, who will add value and add to your life and to your plate, rather than just taking. So I'm still figuring all of this out, and it's still definitely a work in progress. I mean, I'm not fully comfortable going out on my own, and let's say if I'm at home alone, I am chilling, I am having a great time, I love it, I love my solitude. But when it's going out of the house and I'm going to do things or just enjoy my time out, I would prefer to have someone next to me. And that's why it's still a work in progress, and I am actually practicing and trying to be more comfortable being out in public by myself. So I've been really into picnics lately, and before coming to Barcelona, I put a pizza picnic at the beach on my bucket list. And a few days ago, I actually did that. So it was one night where I was alone. I didn't really have anyone with me. Everyone was busy, and I didn't have anything to do, and I really felt like going on a picnic. And I had two options. I had one where I could brave through it and actually go enjoy my picnic that I've been wanting to go on for so long, or wait for someone to be free and wait for someone to come with me. And I'm really glad that I ended up going, because I came to the point of realization that I shouldn't have to wait for someone else to come into my life so that I could live it. I should be able to go and live it for me, and whether that's alone or with people next to me, but I shouldn't be waiting for people to come to me. I should be doing it, and if other people want to join, they can join. And so that's really something that I've been trying to do a lot nowadays and lately, is just not letting being alone stop me from doing the things that I want to do. Especially now that I'm traveling, I want to go out and I want to go and explore and do all of these things while I'm here, and I'm just not gonna let being alone stop me. So I remember that evening, just before I was about to go, I started to actually have all of these thoughts, and I started to talk myself out of going, saying, but by the time you get to the beach, you're only gonna have 1 hour of sunlight left. What's the point? It's such a far ride to get to the beach. And I'm just really glad that I didn't listen to it, and I still just packed up my things and I took off, because I had a great time. I really, really loved sitting there by the water, listening to the waves, watching the beautiful sunset, feeling the breeze on my skin. And I feel like you're able to be a lot more present when you're alone, because you're really just taking in everything around you, and you get to know yourself so much better. Honestly, I feel like I probably would have enjoyed that pizza picnic having someone by my side. But I still, I still enjoyed it, and you can always go back with someone, but it's always good, I think, to get into the practice of taking yourself out, to spend time with yourself and, just be. And I think you will learn, and you can learn a lot about yourself by doing these sorts of things. And honestly, I think I did too. Obviously, life is better with friends, and I really do want to find my people one day, hopefully soon. At the end of the day, it's really about finding the right people for you and nurturing and creating these friendships that are supportive and healthy. Friendships that aren't filled with jealousy, envy, and competition, but friendships that embody love, acceptance, support, and celebration for each other's wins. Friendships where you can just let the others be and just accept them for who they are and love them for who they are. That's what I want to find. And like I said, being more comfortable with being alone, it allows me to be more selective and find those people. But before I find my right people, I think that I still really need to develop my relationship with myself. And that's just to develop a greater sense of self-love, self-acceptance, understanding myself, and just being confident with who I am. Just radiating confidence. And I think that's the only way how you will really find your true people. So I am actually trying to practice this a lot more and do this more often. And so at the beginning of this clip, you would have seen a hike, and I went on this beautiful, beautiful hike by myself. And usually, a hike is a hike. It's not too debilitating to my nervous system by doing this alone, because people are just walking and you're not really around anyone, you're just walking. But it's really when I sat on the beach and I laid my towel out and I laid down there, and I looked around and I realized I'm the only person who's alone. And in those moments I felt a little bit anxious or a bit uncomfortable, like kind of wishing that I had someone else with me. But no, I'm so glad that I went by myself. I think that was a huge reminder for me that I can be whole, or I am whole. I don't need anyone to complete me. I can cultivate and create my own happiness, my own joy, just all from within. And I had an amazing time. I think I couldn't stop smiling throughout my hike the whole entire time. One of the hardest concepts for me to fully grasp and understand is that my self-worth isn't tied to the people that I have in my life, the number of people I have in my life, or what others think about me. I create and I determine my own self-worth. And that hike truly reminded me of that. To just know that I can do it by myself. I don't need to wait for people to come into my life in order to start living. But at the same time, I also have to remember that, while I work on the relationship with myself, it's also important for me to continue to go out and put myself out there in these positions where I can meet people. So I remember when I was in Bali, I made it a goal for myself that every week I would go to a meetup or a class so I could try and meet people. I went to pottery classes, yoga classes. I joined a bunch of different Facebook groups and even just messaged some girls on there asking if they wanted to meet up. And I would also go to all of the different meetup events. And that's actually how I met all of the friends that I made in Bali. And I think that also serves as a reminder for me now to actually go out there and, put myself out there. At the end of the day, socializing is a skill that you can practice. And the more you do it, the more you learn about yourself and the more comfortable you get with being in these situations, the less anxious you're gonna feel. And, sometimes a friendship will come from one of these events or meetups, and sometimes it won't, and that's okay too. But I feel like the more that you work on yourself and the more that you close the gap of distance between yourself, you start to really uncover what you like and what you dislike. You live more authentically, and at the end of the day, you will attract those people who are on the same wavelength as you are. And I think that's the only way that you can really meet your people. So the comfier you are spending time alone and being alone and just radiating your energy loud and proud, the easier it will be, I think, to attract those kind of similar people into your life. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because while that might be my end goal, to find my people and create these beautiful friendships, in order to get there, I need to work on myself. And that in itself is a beautiful thing too. It's all still definitely a work in progress, and sometimes I feel sad and lonely, and I catch myself pitying myself because of my loneliness that I'm feeling, and really just comparing my life to other people's lives. And sometimes those can be tougher moments, but I think that's where I need to change my perspective and take a step back, because especially from what I see is, I know that there are a lot of people like me who are physically alone and don't have, tons of people around them. But then there are also other people who have a lot of people around them, and yet they feel equally as alone. So I think all I have to do is just continue working on myself, continue, developing my relationship with myself, creating my happiness, and, reminding myself that I can feel whole, that I don't need other people to complete me. Anyways, thank you so much for being here and for watching this video. I am grateful for it.